Welcome to the Leverage Show. This is Brett Ingram, and today I want to share with you what I believe is one of the most overlooked secrets to happiness and success. You know, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, there are a boatload of resources about marketing your business and how to get more customers and how to develop products or how to get financing and get funded. There are all of these different tools that focus on tactical and strategic areas of our businesses and help us get more of what we want in those areas. And all of that stuff is really important. You know, we definitely need to learn the skills of our trade. So if we're trying to build a business, it's very important that we understand how to market and that we understand how to raise capital and we understand how to hire employees and how to motivate a workforce, because those are the day-to-day things that we're going to be doing as our business grows and as we want to try to develop success and build our business larger than where it is and where we've started it. But there's actually something that's underneath all of that, and it actually starts with ourselves. You know, if you think about this from the perspective of, say, the fitness industry or your own health and diet, we already know intrinsically, everybody knows, that if you eat healthy, you tend to feel better, and your body responds to that in a way that's positive. You know, you can lose weight, you can maintain a healthy weight, you can build muscle, you can, build your cardiovascular capability. If you're exercising, that's even better. So if you eat healthy and you exercise, now you're really taking care of your body. You're going to start to feel great. You're going to have energy. You're going to, be able to feel like you can conquer the world and all that. And that is very easy for us. It's very tangible. It's something that we can easily see and feel and understand. We see evidence of it in our everyday lives because it's visual and it's right there. But the secret part of it, or the part that goes overlooked a lot of times, is actually in our minds. Earl Nightingale, decades ago, wrote a book or had an audio or some kind of a program. I don't even know how it was delivered the first time. I think it was a book. And it was called The Strangest Secret. And in that, he said that, we become what we think about most. And it was at the time a really groundbreaking idea, because up until that point, there just wasn't a ton of studies published about this kind of thing. We didn't have the proliferation of information and studies and scientific data that we have now. And we didn't have the ease and access of publishing and all the internet and the digital stuff. And there's no cost associated with it anymore. So now there's information everywhere. But at the time, it was really groundbreaking. And basically his idea was, depending on what you focus on, that's what you bring to pass in your life. And if you take the average person and you take a look at the stimulus, you take a look at what we are sort of bombarded with on a daily basis, what do you see? In the news, in the newspapers, everywhere else online, in a lot of media, a lot of it is negative stuff. It's all based on fear. It's all based on anxiety. It's all, there's stories about crime and fires and problems and issues. And, I do think it's important to be aware of what's going on in the world. And I do think it's important to be aware of, current events and all that stuff. However, if you feed your mind a steady diet of that stuff, what ends up happening over time is it's just like eating, fast food, meal after meal after meal after meal. Your mind starts to get out of shape the same way that your body does. And you start to get to a point where you're clouded by this lens of negativity. And everything that you look at, you have this pessimism about. You have a really difficult time feeling positive about things. You're in a general malaise. You just don't feel that good. Your energy level goes down. And you notice that a lot of the things just don't have sort of the same vigor that they once had in your life. And that's from feeding your mind a constant diet of that sort of negativity. And so if you shift that and instead you start to focus on positive things and start to feed your mind with that instead, you get the same effect that you do with your body if you're physically exercising, you're eating well, and you're doing all of these other things. And so one of the great things that I do on a daily basis is think of 5 things in your life that you're grateful for today. And they can be the same 5 or different 5, preferably a different 5 each day. And what it does is it creates a completely different mental pattern in your mind. The playback system of negativity gets broken. It can no longer work anymore, because when you start to feel grateful, it rewires your brain. It starts to automatically force you to start to look at things in a positive light. You start to see the good things that are going on. You start to feel good about the stuff that is going on in your life. No matter how bleak things are, there are some things that are positive. Just like no matter how great things are, there's always some things that are negative. It's just a matter of what you want to focus on. There was an exercise that I learned years ago, and I thought it was a really illuminating sort of exercise for how powerful your focus and what you choose to focus on matters. And it went something like this. You sit in a room and you identify all of the things that are red in that room. And then what you do is you turn off the light. And then you have to think of all the things that are green. It's absolutely impossible, because all you can remember is all of the stuff that was red. That's what you were focused on. That's where your mind was. See, you can't possibly take in everything. You have to filter, you have to delete. And so when you do that, you can choose what you filter and what you delete. You can choose to focus on all the negative and have that stuff permeate your mind and sort of become who you are. Or you could choose to filter that stuff out, focus on the positive, and have that be who you are. Now, this is more than just a simple positive thinking exercise. Everybody knows that if you're not in a good mood, it's difficult to even try to do that. And that isn't even what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting a much more gradual sort of approach of just consciously being aware of what you're feeding your mind with, and spending some time every day in a state of gratitude, in a state of looking for good in other people and other things. Finding the positive in a situation, finding a way to laugh about something that might be going on in your life that you're not feeling particularly good about. Focusing on the news stories in the tiny little column where it's something good about something somebody did. Focusing on other people's contribution to the world and the positive things that they're doing to make a difference. Because that's all around you too. It's just a question of whether or not you notice it. And if you start to fill your mind with positive stuff, it becomes impossible to focus on the negative. It becomes impossible to be down and to be depressed and to be upset and negative and scared and anxious and all these other things, because guess what? There isn't room for that in your mind. You've totally shut all that out because you've focused on all the things that are positive and that are good. So the most overlooked secret to success and happiness is honestly just the way you focus your mind, what you allow into your brain. Just the way you would think about, should I eat this cheeseburger? Is this really good for me? Or instead, should I have this salad, or should I have this, whatever, organic something or other? You want to do the same exact thing with your mind. Do I really want to read this article about, this negative thing? Or instead, would I rather focus on these 3 things about good stuff that's going on? I don't pay attention to any local news. I don't even really watch most news at all, because I just find that the vast majority of it is negative garbage. So I choose to focus more on things that are positive, more on things that show you what's possible and what is positive and what people are doing in ways that, when you start to look at the breakthroughs in science, the breakthroughs in technology, the breakthroughs in philanthropy, what people are doing is astounding. The power of the human will and human spirit to accomplish things and to lift each other up is as remarkable as the negative stuff that's going on. And so if you fill your mind with that, and you do this on a consistent basis, what you find is you no longer need to worry about trying to rev yourself up to be positive for your workday and to rev, because you're automatically in a positive state most of the time. You know, nothing is 100%. You're going to have times where you're down, but overall, your mindset will be one of possibility. It will be one of positive expectation. Imagine going into every endeavor that you do, expecting to win, knowing that something great is going to happen today. Something great, something amazing is going to happen today. Instead of, well, I don't know, it's not going too well today. It's a completely different mind frame. And it has physiological implications because it affects the way that you think, it affects the way that you feel, and it affects the way that you behave. Both the way that you treat others and your interpersonal relationships, and also your approach to the obstacles and the work that you've got to do. Look, to accomplish anything great in this world, you've got to be willing to put in the time. You've got to be willing to make the sacrifices. But it's a lot easier to do that when you feel great about it and you know that you're going to win. You know that you're going to come out the other side on top than it is going up against all odds and feeling like the whole world is against you. So it's just something little to do every single day. Focus on some positive stuff. Spend a few minutes every single day feeding your mind with something positive. Give it a good, rich mental diet of good stuff. And you'll be amazed in the course of 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 months, whatever, how your entire perspective on your life, your business, and your world totally shifts in a positive way. As always, if you have any questions or comments, share them with me at levrigeshow.com or tweet them at #levrigeshow. And until next time, make it happen.